I know there's probably nobody here on the stream just yet, so we'll just hang out for a few minutes and wait for some people to show up. I figured it's Saturday. Maybe it's best to do some of these streams on the weekends when more people are hopefully have a little free time. And I've got a whole bunch of little shorter, like 2, 3, 4 minute videos shot that I'm going to be uploading here in the next, I don't know, probably a week or so. And a bunch of stuff for Patreon. I promised myself, I sat down with my wife, kind of made a little bit of a time schedule, trying to discipline myself a little bit more to get some of this, more of this content out that I really enjoy making. I just, for whatever reason, I've just been kind of behind the 8 ball. So we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. I got a few topics I want to cover with you guys today. So one of the topics, so we're going to talk about the M560, and we're going to talk about my favorite vices for the X7, because I think that's pretty important. We're going to talk about when you would choose a variety of different machines for different, maybe stages in your manufacturing career. Like prototyping can be really expensive. I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys that. So I figured we'd talk about a little bit of this stuff. Let me fire up my iPad so I can kind of keep track of you guys. And if you guys have questions and comments, man, as always, I'd love to have a discussion. That's why I do these live videos. Left down. Cool. Hey, Joe Smith. That's cool, man. That's cool. Things are going good. Things are going really good. Hey, William. Glad to see you guys are here. Looks like there's 8 or 9 people on the stream. So let me just write a couple of these things down before I forget. Lord knows that I will. Hide this. I've got SolidWorks open on I bought this Lenovo gaming PC, and this thing is it's a beast. It really is a beast. I'm super, super pumped with it. And so I'll show you guys some of the things that we're working on. So I'm going to talk about, let's see here. So X7 Vice, USB to 560, tools, dual contact. All right. I guess I could have done some of this research before I got this stream started, but this was a little bit impulsive. I would argue, my wife would say that I do a lot of things impulsively, although I don't think that's always the right way to do them. Okay, so we got 17 guys watching. Thanks for watching, you guys. Appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me as always. I'd like to learn a little bit more about some of you guys that come and hang out with me and watch these live videos and just my content in general. I enjoy the process of making videos. I know that I could do some more clickbaity stuff, and I know that I could put more effort in just making super high-end content, but I'm spread a little thin these days. I've got this business to run, which I love doing. I'm trying to be a halfway decent husband to my wife, and there's a variety of other things going on. I still like to tinker, even though I manufacture pretty much all day, most days, or design most days. I still like to tinker with my own little projects, which we'll talk about another day. But I'd like to know what's important to you guys. What do you guys find the most fascinating? Do you guys like just seeing the machines? So, I mean, I know that like this stuff is like almost like ASMR for me. Like I'm just like, sometimes when the cut's going, it's so mesmerizing to just watch the machine cut. It's super, I don't know, just stimulating, mesmerizing, call it whatever you want. I like doing the live streams because I think this gives us a true two-way communication rather than just kind of like these short broadcasts or blasts or miniature movies. There's no question that when you need a piece of information quickly, it's better to just go find that 4-minute video that tells you exactly what you need to know. The downside is that you can't really ask questions. You have to go kind of surf through the comments or wade through the hundreds of comments or many comments, hoping to find your specific the answer to your specific question rather than just asking the content creator themselves. So if you guys like this, do me a favor, click the thumbs up button. It shows me that you guys appreciate these little chats, I guess you'd call them, and it also benefits me personally because it tells the YouTube algorithm to notify more of my subscribers when I start a live stream. So that's that. So Cool, man. I appreciate you. You know, you guys are so supportive. It is so rare that we come across a hater here at Nerdly. It happens from time to time, and that's okay. You know, everybody has their opinion. I, uh, I'm a big proponent of free speech. You guys can feel free to hate on me if you think something's wrong or call me out. I've always felt like when someone's critical of me or something I've said or did, I often take times to just try to see it from their perspective. I mean, sometimes it's hurtful or mean, and that's just the nature of life. Um, but yeah, anyways, we got this new M560, and I'm impressed. I'm super impressed. I have no deal. There's nothing going on with Okuma. I don't have any deal. In fact, yeah. Anyways, I love this. I love the machine. It's super crazy. I kind of have the basics of the control worked out. Um, it's incredibly powerful. The control is incredibly powerful, and it's a little intimidating. And while today I'm going to show you guys some of the basics on the control, I am doing a complete dedicated series on how to work the control, at least the basics, because there are a lot of people out there. I I know there are a lot of people out there. Number one, because I was one of them, and number two, because they reach out and tell me through like private messages on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram, you guys can catch up with me. Just Jason Snyder, SNYDER 01. That's my Instagram handle, username. Um, but people are intimidated because there's so little content. Before I bought my first super mini mill, I watched all these videos from the Clark Magnate School of Engineering or whatever, and of course the Haas tip of the day. But Akuma hasn't really created that type of content yet, and so I thought today we would talk a little bit about this machine. And so uh, I have the door overridden so that you guys can see what happens. I would encourage you to not do that. For reference, nobody here at my business touches or runs this machine but me. Nobody. So the only person I'm putting at risk by doing things like overriding the door is myself, and I'm the owner of the business. So I would never allow one of our employees to touch a machine that has overridden safety features. It's bad form. Okay, so I see there's questions coming through, and we're going to get to those. But for all you guys that showed up, I want to show you guys some of the features and some of the operating controls first, just so we can get this stuff out of the way. I'm also going to show you guys some of the projects that I got going, and some of these are in process. I love being able to manufacture something start to finish, like in a day. But once you get into some of these molds or these other tooling pieces or just sophisticated parts, just doesn't happen. So let me grab the camera. We're going to come over to the control, and I'm going to show you guys some of the basics. I chose the M560 for a variety of reasons. There are more and more competitors to this style of machine popping up. Guys over at Herco now have their like BX40. The Doosan now has a BVM 5700, BVM 5700. And there are just more and more competitors. Takumi has a bridge style mill. And so this is the control. It's all touchscreen. Will this thing let me zoom? Oh, it will. Okay. So this is the touchscreen. And you can see there's a little blue outline around the box. So when you touch on the different segments, it takes you through. And so what you can do is once you've selected a segment, you can come down here and you can change different like windows within that. So like when you choose here and you hit page down, it'll take you to the machine status. You can assign variables with different names, and the readouts will then populate in here. It'll show your subprogram here, your current machine status, which all the G codes that are active, your active work plane, your in rapid, G53, G90, G94 incremental, absolute mode, things like that. I usually just leave it, actually I just leave it right here at machine status most of the time. Same goes for each one of these quadrants. You can change the way these things kind of read out. And so you just have to find the one that makes you happy, or the one that you enjoy. When you get down to here, this can be a little daunting. So we'll just cover the basics for now. This is your rapid knob. This controls the rapids. So you can go all the way down to a 0.5%, 1%, 5, 10, 20, 30, 75, 100. This is the axis selector. So you guys can see enough over here. Man, I'm going to have to zoom out just a little bit more. All right, there we go. All right, so this machine has 3 main modes: auto, MDI, and manual. And when you're in, you have to be in manual to jog the machine around, and you can do it with 2 different ways. If you guys can see, there's a light on right here, but as soon as I turn on the pendant, and the pendant is on Y, it tells you that you're using the pendant, the hand wheel. And when you turn it off, it goes back to here. So if you wanted to jog it in Y, you guys can see the bed move. You turn this off, and now you're back here. This tends to be a really fast way to move the machine around, and I'll show you. When the door is closed, you can turn it to 100, and turn it to X and Y, and you can see that the machine jogs pretty fast. In fact, we'll do X as well. Same thing for Z. What's nice is that the guys over at Okuma have decided to treat this machine or give you the options to kind of run this thing like a manual mill. And this is something I really like. Other machines, every machine pretty much has this functionality that I'm about to show you, but they all do it a little bit differently. And so here we have 0, 40 inches per minute, which looks like it's 1,000 millimeters a minute, all up to 240 inches a minute. And so what you can do is you can pick your axis, and then you can hit plus or minus, and the machine just automatically starts to go. You can see that it's drifting across. If you turn it up, you can stop it, and you can reverse it, you can turn it up. So we'll see if I can get all of this in one. So you guys can see it's going. And so if you want to run this thing like a Bridgeport, and same thing with this. So it allows you to use the machine very, very easily as basically a manual mill. This is just a good old-fashioned feed override, and you can see that it gives you the LED once you get to your 100% value. And then to override the spindle, it's right over here. You just hit up or down, which goes by 10% increments. And I assume that if you're struggling with either a large diameter cutter or chatter, you can then go to 1%, and then you can just override it by 1% at a time. So if you think you're really close, or you're on that ragged edge trying to fight chatter, this is how you can do it. So I have yet to need to do this with this machine. Clockwise, stop, counterclockwise, spindle orientation, tool release. I barely ever use that stuff. One thing that I use a lot is this button right here. Because I do so much tool and die work, I very rarely program the machine to use coolant. I program it disabled, and I run the coolant that I need, especially when I'm filming. And so what you can do is you can press this button, and just so you guys can see, this is what the screen looks like. So we're going to press the button, and it takes you up here. And what you can do now is so this is air blow. So you can do air through the nozzle that's on the spindle pointing at the tool, or through tool air. So this tool doesn't have through tool air, but if we had through tool air, like I do on so many of the feed mills, as an example, this Kyocera feed mill has ports for through spindle coolant or through spindle air. You could just manually control it. So I like that very much. Of course, your coolant, same thing. You can just do coolant or through coolant right here manually, which is super useful. There are times when you want to be able to see something, and depending on how the code is written, you don't want to have to go into your posted code and mess around. And so just two very nice little features that I use all the time. So we'll get back out of there. Something that I know we don't see a lot of, at least I looked for it on the internet and couldn't find it, was dragging a program into the machine. And so I'll show you guys this real quick. You just take your USB, you insert it, I got it backwards. You insert it in here. There's 2 of these. You go right here and you hit directory display. Now you can choose MD, which is like the master drive 1, US 0, US 1 for the USB, And you could just go into USO, and then you can see here's the file. So 1013, A1013, and A111. But this time we're not going to do that. We're gonna arrow over, and we're gonna choose master drive 1 and USO 1, and now it gives us both the hard drive and the USB. And in this instance, I actually want to copy A1111, but I don't want to copy it into the master folder. I want to copy it into my directory. So I select mine, I hit enter, and then I select A111, I hit copy, left, and that's it. Now, when I go back into my directory display and I check in JSON, there it is. To select that program, you just come over here to auto. I want to make sure you guys can see. Just come over here to auto, program select, and you just hit OK. It chooses the program, and that's it. All you got to do now is hit cycle start, and you're off to the races. It's pretty straightforward. If you wanted to say command a tool change or something like that, you would say go to MDI. Now, most machines hit M6, let's just say tool, I don't know, 3. This is where the Okuma is a little tricky. And I'll talk to you about this in just a second. But Gossiger, my machine tool seller, they wrote a custom macro. So it's actually G116, tool 3. You hit enter to put it into buffer. Oh, I don't mean to do that. Close. Put enter to put it into buffer. And then when you hit cycle start, the machine's, I'll just turn it to 50%. I want you to be able to see this. So we've got this in buffer. We hit cycle start, and it's going to go over there, and it's going to grab the feed mill, which I use a ton. And just in case you guys, we just covered this, but we go over to machine operation, and if we actually wanted to use through air, we could use through air because this is a tool that supports it. I find that a lot of people are really intimidated by this control for whatever reason. And so let me show you guys how to run the probe on this real quick. We're actually going to go grab the probe, which is tool 31 of this machine. I just set it at 31 because that's what it was on the other machine. This is a Renishaw OMP 400 probe. And we'll talk more about that here in the future, but we're going to hit manual, X. We're going to come over here. We'll slow it down a little bit. In fact, we'll just go right onto the hand jog wheel. What do you say? Now here's something that's a little tricky, a little bit different compared to some of the other machines that are out there. I think, if I remember correctly, this part is 3 inches by 2.5 inches. And so let's go into this segment right here. You just hit MDI because you have to use the Renishaw set and inspect through MDI. Press right here, takes you through your menus. Here's the Renishaw set and inspect. So you choose that. And this is super easy. In fact, I'm going to raise this up so there's less glare. All right. Single cycle, spindle probe, measurement cycle. What do we want to do? We want to check. You can see there's 2 windows right here. So for now, we'll choose the second one, and we're going to choose a block, an external block. X-axis 3. We'll call it 2.5. And Z, we'll say minus 0.7. Update the work offset. Yes. Which one do we want to use? We'll just say 2. Enter. Send. And it sends the code right here into the buffer. Now all I'm going to do is hit cycle start, and we'll see it go. And that's it. Now you're picking up work offset number 2. That easy. And this probe is accurate to plus or minus 1/4 of a micron, which is absolutely incredible if you ask me. And if we wanted to do the exact same thing again, but we wanted to do just the Z-axis, we go to Set and Inspect. We go to Home again, same thing, spindle probe, measurement. We do a Z minus, update work offset. I think we just used work offset 2. And we would just hit send and go. And that's it. Done and done. So we just set the center of our block as our work offset. We set the Z, manual, Z, up. And I guess now if we wanted to go grab a new tool, it would just be G116, maybe say, I don't know, tool 11. And when we hit go, that's that. I guess the last thing I'll show you guys is my warm-up program. I just program select. We're going to go up a directory. Okay. Oh, I hit reset. Let's see here. What am I doing here? For some reason, it's not letting me go up. There it is. All right. A0001. Okay. And then I always turn the rapids down, but we hit go. And this is the warm-up program. And now it's going. And you guys can see that I wrote this with a little dwell. And it's counting down right here. So 120 seconds at every RPM. I just wrote this little program by hand real quick just to warm the spindle up every day before we get cutting. So, all right, let me move this camera back over here. We'll reset this. There are so few videos that actually just show what I just showed you guys right there. And I just wanted to run through it real quick. I'm going to create a bunch of, I actually have a bunch of the footage already shot with multiple camera views where we just show people the basics. It's not, once you understand the basic theory of machining, the button presses just come with time. They just come with time. All of these machines do basically the same thing. Some take less button presses, some take more. Some have unique features like the MPG simulator that's on the X7. I think that is one of the coolest features I've ever seen on the CNC machine. You can single block through your program with the hand wheel, which I think is just super, super cool. You can actually rewind your program with the hand wheel. Now what I want to show you guys is some of the stuff that we're working on here in the shop. I'm going to show you what we're working on here in the shop. I'm going to show you this vise, and then that's it. I'll look through the questions, and we'll kind of finish up this chat. So first things first, I'll show you that we designed some of our stuff in SolidWorks, just like you see right here. This is just a body that one of our guys drew up. And this is going to be vacuum formed over time, and so we have to make tools. And so that's where this comes in, and of course, this is where our Haas comes in. So this is this is dragging in, this is a different model, obviously, but this is dragging this in and then building plates and fixtures. And we're going to cut this on the TRT 210 and the VM2. And so this is how I'm going to do it. You guys can see that I dragged this canvas in here to create the fixture plate for this thing. By the way, if you guys are going to have a probing system, download and print out the manual. It'll save you over and over. This is the VM2. This is basically going to be its permanent setup at this point. We have the Pearson mini pallet system in there, along with the TRT 210. This machine has been it's been pretty awesome. The only two issues I've had with this machine at all are, number one, it has a little bit more spindle run out than I would like. It's got about 6 or 7 10,000ths at 6 inches. And this new, whatever this new plating is, it creates this black residue on the weight covers. And so I've asked if they're going to do a stainless weight cover for this machine. If they do, I would invest in those, because I'm really picky about keeping our equipment in really nice shape. And so this machine, I'm a fan. I'm just a fan of how easy Haas has made it to do 5-axis work. It just positionally and or with full 5-axis like a swerve cut. These are the couple of fixtures. That body that I just showed you guys a few minutes ago that was on the fixture, this is the bottom side. So it's actually going to be cut on the fixture like this. But this is the first side that we used the VM2 to cut. I don't know if I put the code up or not, but we actually used this crazy aluminum rougher that we got from the Haas Tooling website. So I'm super pumped. Overall, we're making a lot of progress, and I'm in general, I'm very happy with the machine. When this thing does come out of warranty, I'm going to for sure take the spindle cartridge out and have it dusted, have the taper ground just ever so gently to try and bring it into a couple of 10,000ths at 6 or 8 inches. But other than that, the machine's been great. It's been accurate. It runs great. The spindle is whisper quiet at 15,000 RPMs. Yeah, I really can't complain. So far, so good. Fingers crossed. This machine, because it's one of the mold machines, it came with this pendant, which I never really thought that I would like. But more and more, I find myself in the machine, kind of looking in closely, or I use this all the time. This is a mirror. I use this mirror all the time, and I've got this thing in here, and I'm like maybe dial indicating a bore. It seems a little gargantuan, but it is a pretty cool, I guess, piece of technology. All right, last but not least, I've had more than a few people ask me about vices for the X7, and I just want to show you guys my personal opinion. These are 2 vices. One is a Kurt DX6. Behind here we have a Kurt DX6, which is just your traditional 6-inch vise. From what I understand, this replaced the D688. This is the Tagara 660U. And you can see that it's machined on all sides. It doesn't open up as wide. The DX6 opens up really wide. I want to say about 9 inches on the inside of the factory hard jaws. And then, of course, you can bolt jaws on the outside to hold something even bigger. Where the 660U only opens up, I want to say, about 6 inches in total. But this thing just fits the X7 absolutely flawlessly. It doesn't stick off the back of the table when you bolt it right through these middle slots, and it sticks off. It doesn't stick off the back far enough to hit the way covers at minimum Y, and it doesn't stick out far enough here to run into the door when it's closed at maximum Y. So I'm just a fan. I also love the M-Lock vices, but if you want something that's a 6-inch vise that uses a standard set of vice jaws, this is my pick for the X7. All right. I suppose that's about it, you guys. Let me see what we have for questions, and I'll do my best to answer some of these. I see David Gosh just said, awesome. Thanks, David. I appreciate that. All right, let's see what we got here. Bear with me. All right. Turn this thing off. Turn the volume down, so just in case when I'm clicking around in here, I don't get you guys all jammed up. All right. Well, I'm going to start with the most recent comments. I know the VF2 has a stainless way cover option for 3K. Not sure on the compatibility with the VM. Yeah, I'm not sure because the VM and the VF2 are not the same. The VM2 uses the same way cover as the VF2 SSYT. Do I use full 5-axis or 4+1? Full 5. We use full 5. Where did I get the tool storage on the Sile? We got that from Santa Cruz Electronics, but if you guys give a quick call over to the boys in Houston at Sile in Houston, I'm pretty sure they made a deal and they're going to make that available for the machine. So I would give the guys at Sile Houston a quick call. Where do we get let's see here. Speaking of CNC SMR, the Canadale, let's see here. I ordered a Tagara. Thanks, Jason. Hey, cool. I think they're actually really nice. Natho Builds says, hey, Jason, again, great, awesome video. Nate, if you guys don't know, Natho Builds is a young, ambitious kid that I'm super proud of. He distributes our products in Australia, and he's working hard to create some of his own products. And he just, he's into manufacturing, and he's into the same industry we are. So Natho, thanks for watching, buddy. I appreciate it. Someone just, let's see here. I don't know. Oh, I see Chris DePrisco's on here. Chris, if you're still on, sorry, I'm just not seeing your message. Chris DePrisco, you guys, super nice guy, super talented. If you guys are into like mechanical keyboards and like titanium keys, you guys need to check. You need to like do a quick Google search for Chris DePrisco, or Chris, if you could type in the comments the name of your website, like zaprisco.com or something like that. It's pretty cool. And Chris also has an M560 and makes his own products, which is really cool. Al and I just got off the phone. Al's one of the big dogs over at Autodesk. He's involved with Fusion 360. Hi, Al. Hope you're doing great. You're right. There's no value to manual in a production environment. So, we can get into that later. I'm convinced that there are a lot of times when manual machines would be way faster. When you need a quick hole or a quick slot or something like that, sometimes all the work that's required for programming, it was really Peter Stanton from Edge Precision that really kind of convinced me to start using the machines like manual machines. There was a video where Peter was taking face cuts, and he just told everybody, he's like, hey man, this isn't programmed. This is just me like using the machine's control. And so I started doing more and more of that. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Chris is saying, why are we using a USB stick instead of drive sharing and no Ethernet? Because the apps guy came for 3 hours to commission the machine. I'm going to do, we're talking about it. We've actually got a setup for Ethernet. And so definitely that's my preferred method. Right now, Haas has this thing where we do have the Haas control on the network, which I'm not going to lie to you guys. When you post to the actual machine, it is so much easier. So yeah, I'm going to do that for sure. But for sure, there's going to be some shops that just isn't going to work. Manual feeding and access. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. People say that they don't understand why it is. Well, there's a time when maybe you threw a bar in there, or maybe there's a part I can't tell you how many times working in tool and die for our molds, something needs to be buzzed or cleaned or whatever. And sometimes it's just easier to do something at the control rather than rather than take your guy off of a project that he's in the middle of to program something, when you can just throw it in there and skim it. So someone says, it's my dream is to start a shop in Germany, but I have worries to fail. How do you get along? This is Misty. Misty, here's my best motivational speech. As far as we know, you only get to live once. Every time we make a jump in our business, my wife and I own this. It's scary. It makes me uncomfortable. There's added pressure, a little anxiety. And I want to say it was like Richard Branson that said, if your dreams don't scare you just a little bit, then maybe you're not dreaming big enough. And so a lot of these decisions, there's no guarantee, but I think what you have to do is you have to go to bed at night and lay your head on your pillow and know that you're betting on yourself. What will you do when things go sideways? So if this business starts to go sideways, what will I do? I will literally do anything I can possibly think of to help repair it, fix it, move the ball forward, go get work. You might just have to work for far less than you're comfortable doing. You may have to do jobs that you don't want to do, that there's always going to be some risk. That's all there is to it. And there are a lot of guys that will only buy machines like this with cash, and that's awesome. If you're in a position to do that, if your business is profitable enough to do that, then good for you. But I feel like the real risk in any of these machines is the gap between what I've paid and what the machine is worth. So I don't feel like you're taking the risk of the full value of the machine. I think you're taking the risk of the gap between what it's worth and uh, and what you owe on it. And as an example, I know like right now there are guys that are waiting months and months and months for Haas. So how many parts could say a VM2 make in say 4 months? So if the wait's 4 months, there's likely a guy out there that if I wanted to sell that would probably take it off my hands for maybe what I owe, maybe a little less. I may not lose anything if I needed to sell that tomorrow. So in this business that I have, some of this, a fair bit of it, I own outright, and some of it is financed. And so that balance, I think, is just different for everybody. I can tell you for an absolute fact that when my wife and I decided to open this, we knew that we were doing this long term strategy, that we were going to basically not take paychecks, not take money out of the business, and not everybody can do that. So, to be completely fair, I've worked incredibly hard. We've invested every single penny that's come in addition to our overhead, back into this business to build the infrastructure to have for this long-term effort. You know, it's not a short-term effort for us. And so I don't, I definitely think there are a lot of people that are misled. They think that because we have the machines that we're either rich, or what's even funnier is they think that our business model is just like uber profitable. This just isn't true. It just isn't true at all. The truth is we have sacrificed a tremendous amount that the general public doesn't see so that we can have these machines, so that in 5 or 6 years or whatever, as they were able to have pay them off, we then will become profitable or more profitable at that moment. So, all right, well, let me see if there's any new questions right here. Yeah, so a couple of people are saying, Nerly, what size breaker for the Sile? We have ours on a little 30 amp breaker because we had the X7 in the location that we used to run our super mini mill. So that is like, I think we had it on a 30 amp breaker maybe. And I don't even think it uses anywhere near that, but that's what we have. We have a 30 amp, 3-phase 208 breaker for the X7. Someone says right now, some used machines are selling for more than MSRP. Yeah, that's 100% true. That's 100% true. I actually, long story short, we were going to get a VF2 SSYT to back up the VM2. Okay. I had a little bit of money saved up from some stuff that I've kind of got rid of, and some money I've saved over time. And so I was going to put a big chunk of money down so that I had a super low payment on a VF2 SSYT. That way we had the VM2 with a duplicate machine, right? Fully, you could literally just copy and paste programs off one machine, put the tools in the next machine, and go. Well, unfortunately, Haas started moving back my date back and back and back. I ordered it on October 26th. It was 9 to 13 weeks, and by the next thing I knew, there was a March 20th delivery date, and it kind of freaked me out. And then when we had the spindle run out issues that were a little bit more aggressive than I thought, we run a lot of very, very small end mills, like 1 millimeter or smaller, and that's just a lot of run out for a small end mill. If you go over to Chris's Instagram, Chris, I think it was your Instagram where he showed Chris cuts titanium with these little itty bitty end mills, and he's got like 50 millionths of run out with one of these super nice collet holders from Big Daishua. Let's see here. Have I heard of any problems with wireless transfer, such as OneDrive, PC-driven machine, and Wi-Fi? These are problems still. So I haven't heard anything about that. Mindacre knives, I'm not familiar with any of that. Craig Kruger, which he has on Akuma 5X, says, we had a 5-year plan. We're about 4 years in, and now it's a 7-year plan. Well, Craig, ain't that the way it goes, buddy? The best laid plans, right? It's the shortest distance between any 2 points might be a straight line, but it seems like business tends to go this way. You kind of get off course, you got to correct, and you got to correct, and that's just life, man. It is just life. Not sure if this has been asked already, but how do you like the control? I worked with an Akuma for a short time and hated it. Guess I'm just too used to Fennec Haas. Look, there is no if there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't know of an easier to run machine than a Haas control. Period. I don't think it. Well, maybe the Tormach control is easier, but the Haas control is incredibly easy. It's powerful. It's powerful in as far, I don't know about its processing power, but it's powerful in how fast you're able to get where you want to go. Load a program, uh, run MDI, edit a quick program, alter a coordinate, whatever. It's super easy. The Okuma control is probably a lot more sophisticated. And keep in mind, I think the Haas came with like 1 GB of memory, which, by the way, is, I know that it's 2022, and I agree that these things all should have 80 gigs of memory or whatever, which I think this thing has something crazy like that. Um, but on average, when I post a toolpath, it's like, I don't know, under a megabyte, kilobytes. So do I like it? Do I like the control? I do like the control. There are a lot of things. There are a few things that don't make sense to me. As an example, I don't know why the cycle start button is away from the operator position. Like, why is it way over here instead of here close, like on a Haas? That doesn't make sense to me. Don't understand it. I don't understand that when we choose manual and we put it in X, why is positive on the left and negative on the right? That doesn't make sense either. Like, you'd think that since the machine moves in positive to the right, that the plus would be over here. So little things like that don't make a tremendous amount of sense. The amount of settings that are available, I think you could get a PhD just in working the control on a machine like this. So, which brings, hey, I think this is worth talking about. We live in a world where information is so easy to come by. It's not about what you want to learn anymore. It's not if you can go learn it. It's how, when, or why you should go learn it. We live in a world where I literally don't even want to know what every button does. I just don't. There's no need. It's just like jamming me up it's just investing time in something that probably won't benefit me. It might benefit me someday. Like, it's a lot of might, a lot of maybes. But this is an important concept, because knowing when to stay focused on learning versus when you've learned enough to just get your butt out there and take action. I know a lot of people that are perpetual learners that don't do a whole hell of a lot. Let's see here. So here's a little learn what you need when you need it. That's it. 100% agree. Chris said it best. Learn what you need when you need it. Otherwise, you'll just forget it by the time you do need it. So couple of tidbits. When I bought the VM2, we had to have a 5-axis swarf toolpath. We had to be able to do that. A full 5, not a 3+2, not a 4+1, full 5. Haas will do this. It'll do a full 5-axis toolpath. Okuma, with a rotary, is capable of a full, true 5-axis simultaneous toolpath, one of these verticals. Herco can do it. I looked at Doosan because I think they make nice machines, but with that Fanuc OI control, 4+1 is max. Mazak, I looked at the VCN 570, their vertical, that's a 40x20 vertical, which I think is also a nice machine, but it's a C-frame. That smooth X control can't do full 5, only 4+1. I think you got to get to like a smooth AI control. And so I think what you'll find is when you start looking at wait a minute, there's one other brand. I think Kitamura could do it. But what you'll find is that basically a lot of these machine tool manufacturers that build machines, until you get to like a 31i B5 control, which is a lot of money in Fanuc, they won't do full 5. And so there are a lot of things that I really like about the Genos line. I think that, from what I understand, it's global engineering operational standard or something like that. But I really like the fact that this machine comes with servos that are built by Okuma. The control has like a 5-year warranty, 3 years on 5-year warranty on the control, 3 years on parts, 1 year on labor, something like that. And so it just shows, with a warranty that comes with a machine like that, it just shows you that Okuma believes in their machine. Simple as that. They believe in their machine. So. Someone said, Jason, hey Brian, do I use toolpath validation program prior to running new programs? I On the vertical stuff, we don't. We intended to do that when we bought when we had the full, when we had originally chose the M465 axis, we were going to verify, at least on the true swarf tool paths, when everything starts moving quickly, a quick tilt, what looks like a quarter of an inch in tool movement can have the whole trunnion swinging, 60, 80 degrees in less than a second, like really, really fast. And so I think that if you're going to be running true 5-axis tool paths a lot, I kind of have a system over on the VM2. I set everything up, and then I increase the tool length a couple of inches, and then I turn the feed rate down and the rapid rate down, and I run it, and I watch the tool path run completely separate, with no tool in the spindle, with no nothing, just to make sure that I'm getting what I think I'm supposed to be getting. And this is a major time waster. If you were in a high production shop, you couldn't do this, or it wouldn't be tolerated. It would make way more sense just to go buy some high-end verification software. But for us, when we're making 2 of something or 3 of something or just a couple, it's okay to scrub some time to protect the machine. Steinarn, yeah. I don't know. I apologize. I don't know. I want to say it's in around a gigabyte ish, but please forgive me. Uh, I've got some content upcoming. So quick update for you guys that want to know about the X7. I'm super pumped. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to say too much. I'll give you the guy's first name. His name's Doug. There's this guy named Doug that bought an X7, and the dude is stone cold brilliant. He's a retired electronics engineer, and he wrote and created some awesome macros, and there is now a 100% complete finished version of the software for the X7 that integrates the spindle probe, the tool setter, and extremely refined workflows. And so we're updating this machine this week, and we're going to be shooting the final kind of how-to videos. I am super pumped. So for any of you guys that are watching that are interested in the X7 or already have one, you need to reach out to the guys down in Houston and ask about that. Okay, well, you guys, this has been a pretty long run. Let's see how long we've been going for. I don't see, but we've been out here for quite some time. How tall do you need for a ceiling? I don't know. I'm not sure. We have really tall ceilings in this building. Here, I'll show you guys. We have like really, really, really tall ceilings. So we have really tall ceilings. So I'm really not sure exactly what is required. If you guys are interested in something like this, Okuma, I would give your local reseller, I guess Hartwig or Gossiger or whoever your people are, I'd give them a quick call and see what they have to say. Yeah, all in all, I've been. Oh yeah, there's one more gripe. See how the door does this? These 2 panels are independent. So on the X7, I know this is going to be far away, but I know you guys can see it. Check. This is what I love. These things have like this scissor thing in there. So look, they go together. That is, if Akuma could figure that out, I think we'd be fully winning. The last thing, one of the guys, I forgot who I got this from, but I bought this a while ago. This is something that I got from one of the guys on Instagram. It's super nice. It's like 1/8 inch thick stainless. I was looking at the iPad, and it goes under here to hold all your stuff. You can see right now I kind of have a variety. I got this magnetic thing. I've got another Harbor Freight tray, and then I've got my long air gun. And I just have one mounted here for now. But when I get some time, I'm going to find a way to get this thing mounted so that it's a little bit more user-friendly. I get the feeling that this machine is like a production workhorse, probably not the most common machine for guys that are doing onesie-twosies. Cool. All right, you guys. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this video, it'd be doing me a favor. Click the thumbs up button. It'll tell YouTube that these videos are worth watching, so it'll push them out to more of my subscribers next time I go live. And I appreciate you guys hanging out. Cool. All right, well, that's that. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.